And we hear of that often in Palestine, and this is nothing new as far as Kashmir is concerned as well. So even when one looks at it from a historical and a political context, the forcible occupation, unfulfilled promises over and over again, systematic operation, and all of this is taking place under the watch of an entire world where the Indian government, there's been lack of accountability, like we see in the case of Israel as well, and people like Benjamin Netanyahu. Narendra Modi is no different. And also, I think what is of major concern is international apathy as far as Kashmir is concerned. It's not much on the radar, we don't get a lot of news, and I think this is the reason why this Kashmir-Africa Peace Seminar is for us to get rid of this baggage of international apathy. And who better than us, than in South Africa, who understand, and also in many parts around the African continent, where we've all been under the yoke of colonialism, the yoke of imperialism. Many of our countries have been occupied as well, and I think many of us will identify with the struggles of Africa, and this is the reason why there are so many parallels when we talk about occupation of Kashmir and we compare to Africa. Now, let's go straight into the program. In fact, at the end of the program, we will have a petition to the President of the Republic of South Africa, which we would obviously request you to sign as well. But Salman obviously has welcomed you as well as the founder of the Kashmir Global Movement and the South African Kashmiri Action Group. And we'd like to actually begin with an introductory video of the Kashmiri conflict. And I hope you will connect to that. Yeah. This is switched off, right? Connect to the one. You have to switch off this one. Then it's supposed to be. Just check the Farhan outside. Your sound. Sorry, just 2 seconds. Want me to just apologize for that, just trying to get sound right. But just looking at the program for this evening, we've got quite a variety. In fact, we've got a whole host of speakers who will be covering a whole range of topics. So we've set up the program in such a way where there are going to be some messages that will be coming through, but also in terms of some of the key messaging as far as Kashmir is concerned. They just need to connect on the Bluetooth from here.
शादी बोलना कुछ बोलना उसी प्रोग्राम के बारे में थोड़ी तफसील दसो saying something about this saying something about this program
No.
अक्सर आप थोड़ा सा ना बताएं हमारे
उर्दू में बताएं इंग्लिश में
हम बारे में ये कॉन्फ्रेंस सेमिनार जो हो रहा है
उर्दू में बताना इंग्लिश में इसमें ज़बान इंग्लिश में उर्दू में बिस्मिल्लाहिर्रहमानिर्रहीम। आज यहाँ पे सेंटन में कश्मीर के हवाले से ब्लैक डे के मौजू के ऊपर ये एक प्रोग्राम तरतीब दिया गया है। ये दुनिया की तारीख का एक स्या दिन है कि जब इंडिया ने गैर कानूनी तौर पर कश्मीर में ट्रूप्स को भेजा था, अपनी फौज को भेजा था, और आज तकरीबन 77-78 साल हो चुके हैं गैर कानूनी तौर पर इंडिया कश्मीर में काबिज है। यूनाइटेड नेशन की दर्जनों की तादाद में करारदादें मौजूद हैं, और इंडिया जो खुद कश्मीर का इशू यूनाइटेड नेशन और सिक्योरिटी काउंसिल के अंदर लेके गया था, आज वो उन करारदादों को मानने के लिए तैयार नहीं है। 37A और रिसेंटली इंडिया ने अपने जो कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन के अंदर रिवोकेशन की है, वो भी एक इंटरनेशनल जो लॉ था उसकी वायलेशन है। और आज ना सिर्फ यहाँ पे हम साउथ अफ्रीका में बल्कि पूरी दुनिया के अंदर इंसानियत के साथ हमदर्दी करने वाले और इंसानियत की बात करने वाले लोग कश्मीर के लोगों के हक में खड़े हैं, अपनी आवाज़ को बुलंद कर रहे हैं, और उनका ये मुतालबा है कि कश्मीर को अक़वाम मुत्तहिदा की करारदादों के मुताबिक हल होना चाहिए, के मसले को हल करना चाहिए, और कश्मीरियों को हक़ खुद इरादियत देना चाहिए। कश्मीरियों के ये राइट देना चाहिए कि वो अपनी किस्मत के बारे में ख़ुद फैसला करें कि क्या वो इंडिपेंडेंट कश्मीरी के तौर पर वो रहना चाहते हैं, क्या वो इंडिया के साथ मिलकर रहना चाहते हैं, क्या वो पाकिस्तान के साथ मिलकर रहना चाहते हैं। ये फैसला कश्मीर की आवाम को देना चाहिए। बहुत शुक्रिया।
We need to continue with the program. And first up on the line, I sort of get a message to Kashmir, and this is coming through from Zimbabwe. We've got Mr. Cosmos and Kobe, who is with the PAMU, which is the Progressive Alliance and Kwakazi Union. I think I've got that pronunciation correct, sir. If you could just come through, please, sir, and your message coming out of Zimbabwe.
Cosmas Nube. I am from Mandela, Palace.
You are.
Yes. I'm here on behalf of the people of Mandela, and I'm carrying their fraternal message. To the people of Kashmir, and wishing you peace and self-determination. I present the solidarity message on behalf of my party, PAM, of which I am its leader, and on behalf of a coalition of political parties, civil society organizations, and other interest groups under the brand umbrella of the Kukuraunde Genocide Alliance, and indeed on behalf of all struggling people of Mandela. May I thank and congratulate the organizers of the Nelson Mandela Kashmir-Africa Peace Seminar for this milestone. President Mandela was a rare gift to humanity, and many lessons shall continue to be drawn from his long struggle against apartheid. What he taught and practiced, which distinguished him as an extraordinary icon, not just in South Africa,
ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਕਲੂਜ਼ ਕਰ ਦੇਣਾ ਨਾ, ਇਹ ਸਾਡਾ ਫਿਰ ਸ਼ੇਅਰ ਕਰ ਦੇਣਾ ਤੁਸੀਂ।
fighting against injustice, speaking truth to power, and turning swords into plowshares. And some of the important lessons, particularly for those suffering the injustices, occupation like Kashmir. The challenges faced by the people of Kashmir may look insurmountable. The brutality of occupation is unbearable, and even freedom seemingly illusory, but we urge you not to give up on this just struggle. Your perseverance inspires millions throughout the world, particularly and equally struggling people of Mandela, with brotherly support like this Nelson Mandela Kashmir Peace Seminar and many other efforts across the globe. We are hopeful that peace, stability, and freedom shall be restored to the people of Kashmir. By these words, comrades, I think everybody is inspired by the fight shown by the people of Kashmir. So we say, as the people of Mandela, we encourage you to go on. Thank you, thank you, comrades. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Cosmos and Kube. We will continue now with our next speaker on the lineup, Shamima Korpus. Now, Shamima is the founder of ARZU, which is a leadership development entity. She's an accomplished leader in the corporate world.
Video clip na
the country, but also a motivational speaker and an activist advocating social justice and the rights of women. And talking about the rights of women, we know for a very, very long time, and as I mentioned earlier as well, was sexual violence being a crime that is used as a weapon of war in Kashmir as well. So it's just fitting for our sister Shamima, who will be talking about the women and the children who are caught in the Kashmir conflict.
Women, children, and peace, building a sustainable future for Kashmir and the world. Distinguished delegates, excellencies, members of the international community, my sisters and brothers from Africa, Asia, and all around the world, I stand before you in the spirit of peace, compassion, and shared humanity. We gather here not only to speak of Kashmir, but to affirm our commitment to a world at peace in which every child and every woman will free from fear, of poverty and oppression. As Nelson Mandela reminded us, there is no keener revelation of a society's soul than the way in which it treats its children. We know that the struggle for freedom and justice is never the burden of one nation alone. It is a call that echoes across continents, from the snow-clad mountains of Kashmir to the vast plains of Africa, binding us through our shared humanity. When Mandela opened the Non-Aligned Movement Summit in Durban, September 1998, he referred to Kashmir as a matter that remains a concern for all of us, and said it should be resolved through peaceful negotiations. The United Nations Sustainable Development Goals are a global blueprint for justice and peace and dignity. Remind us that peace is not a dream reserved for the fortunate. It is a human right owed to all. Kashmir, like many parts of our world, stands at the crossroad of pain and possibility. For decades, its people have endured the weight of conflict, uncertainty, and displacement. Yet, even amidst the turmoil, the women and children of Kashmir have carried the torch of resilience, teaching us that hope is the most powerful form of resistance. We cannot speak of peace without speaking of the women. SDG 5 calls for gender equality and the empowerment of women and girls. This is not an act of charity, it's a matter of justice. In Kashmir, as in Africa, women have been the backbone of families, the keepers of memory, and the silent peacemakers in times of war. They must not only be
ਮੋਬਾਈਲ ਚਲਾਓ ਹੁਣ ਤੇ ਚੱਲਦਾ ਵੀ ਆਵਾਜ਼ ਆਂਦੀ
every peace process,
ਲਾਈਨ ਜਿਹੜਾ
every
ਚੱਲਦਾ ਆਵਾਜ਼ ਦੇਖੋ
negotiation,
ਆਂਦੀ
every vision for the future.
ਲਿੰਕ ਤੇ ਜਾਓ
We cannot speak of progress without speaking of quality education. Nelson Mandela stated that education is the most powerful weapon we can use to change the world. SDG 4 reminds us that education is the key that unlocks the chain of ignorance and division. Every woman, every child in Kashmir deserves the right to quality education, to learn, to play, and to dream without the sounds of guns, conflict echoing their bellies and their hearts. The protection of children is not only a moral duty, it is an investment in peace we seek to build. And we cannot speak of justice without embracing SDG 16, the goal of peace, justice, and strong institutions. Sustainable peace cannot be imposed, it must grow from the soil of inclusion, fairness, and mutual respect. The institutions that govern must be rooted in human rights and serve not power, but the people. South Africa too once knew the bitterness of division and the heavy hand of injustice. Yet, we learned that the journey to peace begins not with vengeance, but with reconciliation. We learned that freedom without equality is hollow. To our brothers and sisters in Kashmir, I say, your struggle is not forgotten. The call for peace in your land echoes in the conscience of humanity. The UN SDGs gives us a framework, but it is the collective will of nations and the compassion of individuals that will transform those goals into reality. Let us therefore commit ourselves to building bridges between Africa and Kashmir of solidarity, of shared learning, of human connection. Let us invest in education for girls, in healthcare for mothers, in safety for children, in livelihood for families. Let us replace fear with opportunity and despair with hope. Nelson Mandela stated that peace is not just the absence of conflict. Peace is the creation of an environment where all can flourish, regardless of race, color, creed, religion, gender, class, caste, or any other social markers of difference. And there can be no true peace until the women and children of Kashmir can walk their valleys in freedom, dignity, and joy. As a South African mother, I stand in solidarity with the people of Kashmir, especially the widows and the orphans. Thank you.
Thank you, Sharma. We're going to now attempt to play this introductory video. And just a quick announcement. The petition will be going around as well for signature. And also at around 6:20, we will be taking a break for the Maghrib prayers, the Maghrib Salah, inshallah.
Kashmiris consider the 27th of October as the darkest day in the history of Indian illegally occupied Jammu and Kashmir and observe it as Black Day. The day is observed every year to mark protest and resentment by Kashmiris around the world in commemorating the forced occupation by imperialist India. Kashmiris living on both sides of the line of control and worldwide organized protest demonstrations and rallies against Indian aggression in front of Indian embassies, UN offices, and in historical places in different countries all over the world, and remind the United Nations and the international community of its commitments regarding the resolution of the long-standing Kashmir dispute. It was on this day that India emerged as a colonial power and usurped the territory of Jammu and Kashmir against the people's aspirations and in total disregard of the Indian Independence Act and partition plan. As per the partition principles, Kashmir was a natural part of Pakistan. Jammu and Kashmir, with 87% of Muslim population, had a natural tendency to accede to Pakistan. The aspiration of the Kashmiri people to be part of the newly established Muslim state was already expressed by their representatives at a meeting of Jammu and Kashmir Muslim movements at Abi Guzar in Srinagar on July 19, 1947, when they passed a resolution announcing the accession of Jammu and Kashmir to Pakistan. Unfortunately, India, violating all rules and norms set for partition, invaded and illegally occupied a part of Jammu and Kashmir state. The people of Kashmir rejected Indian occupation and launched a movement against the aggressors. To perpetuate its occupation and to justify the landing of troops, it took the issue to the United Nations in 1947. The UN passed 18 resolutions on different occasions, granting the right of self-determination to the people of Jammu and Kashmir through the democratic method of free and impartial plebiscite under UN supervision. India signed the agreement and made commitments before the international community that Kashmiris will be given a chance to determine their future through plebiscite. However, India backtracked on its commitments and used brute force to muzzle their voice. India has deployed nearly 1 million troops and turned occupied Kashmir into a vast jail and the most militarized area of the world. These dark forces, under the cover of draconian laws, are perpetrating heinous crimes like genocide, burning of properties, molestation of women, and other horrible crimes against humanity with total impunity. Killings of over 100,000 Kashmiris, crippling of thousands through brutal torture, burning of over 500,000 shelters, rape of over 11,000 women, disappearance of over 10,000 youths, and other crimes since 1989 is clear proof that India is hell-bent to turning Kashmir into a graveyard and a wasteland. Although Kashmiris are confronting Indian state terrorism for over 7 decades, yet the Modi regime has proven to be the worst enemy of humanity in Kashmir. It has declared an all-out war against hapless Kashmiris and has broken all records of tyranny set by fascist regimes in the past. Hindu communal forces had a long desire of total merger of occupied Jammu and Kashmir with the Indian Union and the establishment of the Hindu civilization in the territory. It started the practical implementation of the nefarious plan on the 5th of August 2019 by revoking Article 370 and 35A of the Indian Constitution that granted special status and rights to occupy Kashmir and its residents, and prohibited non-Kashmiris from acquiring land and jobs in the territory. The move is aimed at engineering a demographic change by settling Indian Hindus in large numbers to outnumber local Muslim population. Under the new decree, India has integrated the entire area with the Union territory and began a new era of ethnic cleansing and demographic change, and nearly 8 million people are caged at home. It was the beginning of a new era of hardship for the Kashmiris. This step has also put the centuries-old Muslim identity of Indian-occupied Jammu and Kashmir under threat, as the followers of Hindutva, a Hindu supremacy ideology, want to convert Kashmir into a Hindu state. It has been nearly 15 months now that the people of Jammu and Kashmir are living in all-out hell. They are besieged, deprived of basic rights, including the right to free movement, health, education, assembly, and to express freely. The unrelenting and crippling military siege imposed by the fascist Narendra Modi government of India has catastrophic impacts on social, political, and economic life. It is one of the longest and largest curfews in known human history. Indian troops are killing, torturing, and raping unarmed civilians, damaging their properties, destroying their businesses, burning their houses, and forcing them to give up their legitimate demand for self-determination. During this period, trigger-happy Indian soldiers have martyred over 300 Kashmiris, while 1,500 people have been critically injured due to the use of brute force by Indian troops on peaceful demonstrators in the territory. As the entire illegally occupied territory has been turned into an open-air prison, thousands of leaders, political and human rights activists, religious heads, journalists, businessmen, lawyers, and civil society members, youth and activists were arrested before or after August 5, 2019, and still continue to remain behind bars. Press freedom is under a constant threat, and journalists are detained and harassed regularly. Cruel military lockdown has pushed occupied Kashmir into the Stone Age. Communications blockade has made the Kashmiris' lives miserable. To further consolidate its control, India has carefully passed the new domicile law. The new law provides an opportunity to Indian citizens who lived in Kashmir for 15 years to claim a domicile certificate for residency benefits. The new law further alienated the Kashmiri people and exposed the design of Narendra Modi for demographic change in Kashmir.
Madam President, it has been more than a year since my last report on both Indian and Pakistan administered Kashmir. In Indian administered Kashmir, incidents of military and police violence against civilians continue, including use of pellets. Many legal changes, including to the constitution and domicile rules, are generating deep anxiety, but the space for political debate and public participation continue to be severely restricted, particularly since new media rules have prohibited vaguely defined anti-national reporting. Hundreds of people remain in arbitrary detention, with many habeas corpus petitions still pending, including those of many of Jammu and Kashmir political leaders.
The systematic annihilation of the native population, land grabbing, violence, and cultural invasion points to a dangerous pattern of genocide that has been going on in the region for far too long. The blatant usurpation of Kashmiri's fundamental rights by India and its attempts to change their demography constitute a serious violation of international law and the UN resolutions that strictly prohibit India from changing the status of Jammu and Kashmir unilaterally. Since Kashmir is a UN-recognized disputed territory, it is incumbent upon the United Nations to take immediate cognizance of these lopsided illegal actions and take concrete steps to save Kashmiris who are facing the existential threat posed by the Hindutva extremism. As the unresolved Kashmir dispute is a potential powder keg in the region, it is high time for the global community to come forward to stop New Delhi's onslaught on the Kashmiris' identity and Muslim majority status and initiate measures for settling the Kashmir dispute in accordance with the aspirations of the Kashmiri people without any further delay.
Well, that was just an indication, an introductory indication of the dire situation in Kashmir, accompanied by brutality, accompanied by absolutely no respect for human life, for human law. And once again, when I spoke about the occupations of Palestine and Kashmir mirroring each other, and we've seen there is absolutely no difference. There is no difference between the fascist, racist, apartheid leadership styles of both Benjamin Netanyahu and Narendra Modi.
I just want to make a small presentation called Clement on the stage. Please for me.
Okay.
Clement Kobe.
Clement and Kube, Cosmos and Kube, Salman would just like to make a small presentation to you. If you could come forward, please.
Once again, I'm here, and every revolution needs symbolism, and our revolution always missing that symbol. And I come out with a star which unites the both Palestinian and the Kashmiri freedom together, because most of the people sitting here, everybody support. So I'd like to present the first star to the right and the rear and fight for the Kashmiri. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you. Now, Baji, I would like to please go through. I'd like to also present you this scarf as well. Then after you can call the doctor. Thank you very much. Baji has been very much, I would say, my support for the Kashmir with the Afghan for the last 10 years. 10 o'clock at the Central Community Center when we had the Minister of Finance visiting from India. She was with me, and many of people know that she's been very actively involved in the protest, not only for Palestine, but for Kashmir. So, Jazakallah, very rewarding. Thank you.
Thank you, Salman. Okay, I now have the pleasure of someone that I've actually engaged with a lot of media, and we met for the very first time this afternoon from the African Diaspora Forum, our global network, Dr. Musi Sibanda, and again, reminding us of the parallels of Africa, our struggle for liberation in the Kashmir conflict. Dr. Musi Sibanda.
Good evening. Good evening. And I want to appreciate all the colleagues that are present, this evening. And I know that they'll probably be sitting at home doing other things that, that find very important, but because, this event marks our humanity. And that is why, people decided that they'd leave and come here. And I mean, of course, I've got views that I think maybe are unorthodox and not very common, in the sense that in the fight for self-determination, self-identity, unfortunately, more often than not, the terms that are very common, like justice and peace, I think they are very subjective, and they do not apply equally, to all human beings. It has become my realization and thought that maybe imperialists, capitalists, superpowers have got better rights than the poor, the indigent, and the weak, because nobody ever hears, their crime and their exploitation. Now, the countries and the people that are oppressed, whose land is taken by force, they are never given an ear or heard by anyone. I know we talk about the United Nations, we talk about regional bodies like the African Union. Maybe to me, they don't mean as much, because in the bulk of the cases, there are more talk than action, because we have got 58 resolutions. Maybe the question is, what is the purpose of those resolutions if they keep piling up, but there is no effective implementation of those particular resolutions? I would have thought that, the United Nations maybe, because it is the United Nations, if it was, merely concerned about people, because it is the United Nations for that matter, it would come down to the ground and say, wait a minute, we want to hear every voice. Now, you've got people that are fighting for self-determination, like people in Kashmir, southern Cameroon, you've got the Biafrans, you've got the Mtwaras, the people that are represented here, who are saying, we do not want to belong here. But you've got the United Nations, you've got the leaders sitting on a day-to-day basis, and what do they come up with? They say there is, India and Pakistan. These are, they've got their territorial sovereignty. We should respect their sovereignty. I don't know what the meaning of this sovereignty really is, because how does it become sovereign when the other people who are also sovereign, because sovereignty, every one of us has got that. But why does it appear like it is apportioned to particular individuals and other individuals are not allowed to express their own? Now, forgive me for rambling, but all I'm trying to say basically is that the plight of the people of Kashmir is the plight of many people here in Africa. A lot of people are living in the diaspora like myself, not by choice, but because you do not have a voice in a place which you call home. You cannot self-identify. You cannot tell, you cannot express. We've got countries that claim to be constitutional states and that are run from a constitutional perspective. But constitutions are supposed to enshrine inalienable rights, inviolable rights of each and every individual. And they're supposed to be a process which ensures that the weak determine how they are governed, not how the rich determine how they govern and oppress the weak. Today's world is a world that is lived by the principles of the survival of the fittest. If you are a leader, you are a president by hook or crook, whether you stole an election or whatever it is that you did, wherever you go, you are listened to. And subjectively so, because in some cases, other people are pointed out to be non-constitutionalists or dictators or people that usurp authority, but in some cases they're not. So it all depends on who's on your side. I mean, do you have a superpower on your side? Do they like something about you or not? I mean, we cannot have a situation where for almost a century now, the country is fighting for self-determination, and we are sitting every day and talking about it, but nothing tangible is happening. Now, people are born in bondage and die in bondage, and their descendants continue in bondage in the 21st century. And then we are saying we are a progressive society. We are a progressive global village. Well, I don't buy that. I don't believe in that. I believe that we begin to become a progressive society when the injury of another person becomes my injury. Now, if we are able to suffer injustice on somebody else, it means that we are perpetuating the same injustice. Because if you see somebody that is doing something wrong on another person and you become a bystander, you have actively participated in the injustice because you are supporting it. Otherwise, you would have stood up for the rights of those people that are being oppressed. So as we continue to fight for the freedom and for the self-determination of the people of Kashmir, we must remember that somehow we have endorsed the oppression of the people of Kashmir, because it is not enough to talk and not do anything. It is something worth doing that we say we did not only go to the streets, but we took to task all the leaders that we have that sit at the United Nations. South Africa is one of the strongest countries that we have, that we live in. We've got other countries in the global village. The United Nations itself, the African Union. What have we done? Have we engaged enough? Have we made enough efforts to ensure that those people that we talk about gender-based violence every day, but what have you been watching? The mental raping of the people of Kashmir has not only ended in the mental raping, but it has gone to the physical raping of women and killing. And still, nothing is happening. So I think to the organizers, And to all of us that are in here today, maybe we need to give ourselves a homework. And that homework is to say, are we going to come here on earth as citizens of this global village and pass by and be forgotten about like a cloud, having not made a difference in the lives of people like the Kashmirs? Are we going to be comfortable when we go home, get into our blankets, have our warm meals, and forget about the brutalization of people who have been denied their inalienable rights to say, this is who I am, this is who I want to govern me, this is how I want to be governed, this is who I want to associate with, this is who I want to work with? Who are we? Thank you.
Thank you. While Salman is doing the honors with Dr. Busi Sikanda, we're going to break for 10 minutes for the Maghrib Salah. So if we could, obviously just, we know we are running against time. We have started a bit late, so let's take a 10-minute break. Maghrib Salah is the East Jamaat Khana on upstairs as well. So we'll break for the Maghrib Salah now.
सलमान भाई, ये अभी ना जो खवातीन बैठी ना, वो शॉर्ट शॉर्ट इंटरव्यू साथ कर रहे हैं ना, उनको थोड़ा करवाना लाइव चल रहा है अभी वो नमाज मर्द जा रहे हैं ना, खवातीन बैठी कुछ लेना उनसे वो इम्पोर्टेंट है ना, तो I already told him about you don't on anything but you want to do some small short interview. Name नहीं करना इनका वैसे कमेंट ये अच्छा सेकंड ही है comment about the seminar.
Okay, I'm representing. Okay. Okay, I'm representing the.
I want everybody to give a solidarity message.
Okay.
Who's holding this so they can see that you are, the part of
Yeah.
it.
Okay. Assalamu alaikum. I am representing the Free Kashmir Women's Forum. So I speak on behalf of, I have the privilege and honor of speaking on behalf of the women of Kashmir and the Free Kashmir Women's Forum. So later on, I'll be doing my talk and my presentation and my message of solidarity to the people of Kashmir.
As a mother, I'm here to stand in solidarity with the people of Kashmir, the mothers, the children. As a South African woman, having lost my husband very young, I had to raise my child at the age of 1 year, 9 months. And we went through the apartheid. However, we had an amazing leader, Nelson Mandela. And because he rooted for peace, and we had the opportunity to be able to study, to be able to work, and to be able to bring my daughter up with dignity. I would love to see this for every other woman, and especially in Kashmir and all the other countries that's oppressed. Thank you.
Wow, that's a privilege.
Bobby? Huh? Very much. Ma, you want to talk? Huh? Okay. Is it going on here? Is it live? Oh my God. मेरे husband talk करेंगे. I'm going on.
Was it hard laughing?
आपके हस्बैंड डॉक्टर हैं तो कहते हैं टीवी पे नहीं आना
Maybe वो आएंगे.
अच्छा आएंगे
Will come.
You want to talk? Is the live saying about that Kashmir issue? What do you have a opinion about that issue? Come, please.
I'm Nicolene Trom from Umtung Abantu Foundation. Thank you for being here. To Kashmiri, we give solidarity to you. The bone of contention has always been what the capitalist always gains from keeping you in the position that you are in. But just know that your resilience and your courage has kept you this far since 1947. Keep strong. We do understand that it's not easy to be in this position, to be in this state, but yeah, keep strong.
Good evening to the people of Kashmir. This is
Can you introduce yourself? Then you start.
good evening. My name is Ben Sivanda from Matebeleland in Zimbabwe. I would like to say to the people of Kashmir, keep strong. We know how it's like to be dispossessed of your land, to be dispossessed of your culture, to be dispossessed of your belongings. We are in the same situation as you are. We would like to say, keep strong, keep fighting. In the end, you will get what belongs to you. Thank you.
Introduce yourself, then you start.
Yes. Yes, my name is Cosmas Ngube from Matebeleland, member of Progressive Alliance of Mtwakazi Unions, PAMU. I would like to give support to the people of Kashmir. We are saying you are not alone. Many people and everybody in Matebeleland is with you. We are in the same predicament. Our lands are being occupied and our areas are underdeveloped. Tribalism is pushing us back. We are led by criminals, people who murder us every day, people who steal our resources. We are from a rich country, but we are now beggars in the world. So Kashmir people, don't give up. Stay strong. People of Matebeleland are with you. Thank you.
You think something? Introduce yourself, then.
Sorry?
Introduce yourself, then start saying about that.
Vusu Banda from the African Diaspora Global Network. To the people of Kashmir, we don't only want to stand together in solidarity, but we want to fight this battle together. We want to forge, alliances that ensure that the freedom and the peace, the undisturbed, living of the people of Kashmir, that they can live in their houses in peace, is shared, with them. We believe that, the continuous agitation for the liberation and the freedom and the justice that the people of Kashmir, deserve must be a cause, for the whole global community to fight for and ensure that it happens within our lifetime. It should not remain a story to be spoken, about, but it must become a reality. Thank you.
सोच लें क्या कहना, थोड़ा बहुत कह दें. پہلے ذرا دیکھیو میری اسکرین ذرا کلیئر کرے میں کہہ رہا ہوں اسکرین کلیئر. جی نیلسن مڈیلا کشمیر افریقہ امن سیمینار جو ہے وہ ابھی یہاں منعقد کیا گیا جوہانسبرگ میں. ابھی نماز کے لیے بریک آیا ہے. بریک کے اندر ہم نے مختلف لوگوں سے بات چیت کی ہے. اس سیمینار کے اندر آپ کو دکھایا جا رہا ہے کہ کشمیریوں کے حد ارادیت اور ان کے حق کی آواز عالمی سطح پہ جگہ جگہ پہ اٹھائی جا رہی ہے اور کشمیری عوام کو یہ یاد دلایا جا رہا ہے کہ وہ اکیلے نہیں, ہم سب آپ کے ساتھ ہیں. ابھی ہم چلتے ہیں لال قلعہ کے اندر یہ پروگرام ہو رہا ہے اور ہم آپ کو لائیو اسٹریمنگ کے ذریعے آپ کو یہ چیزیں دکھا رہے ہیں. تو اب ہم آپ کو لے کے چلیں گے لال قلعہ کے اندر, تھوڑے سے مناظر دکھائیں گے, تھوڑے سے لوگوں سے بات کریں گے. اس کے بعد دوبارہ ہمارا پروگرام نماز کے وقفے کے بعد دوبارہ شروع ہوگا اور جو ٹیکنوکنیٹ اور زمبابوے, ساؤتھ افریقہ اور ادر کنٹریز سے مہمان اور لوگ اس جدوجہد میں شامل ہیں ان سے آپ کو ملوائیں گے اور ان کی بات چیت بھی سنیں گے. آئیے چلتے ہیں اور لال قلعے کی ہم آپ کو ساتھ ساتھ سیر کراتے ہیں. یہاں پہ لال قلعے کے اندر ہمارے بہت سارے پاکستانی بھائی جو کہ جلیبیوں کے اسپیشلسٹ ہیں وہ ہمارے ساتھ ہیں. اور السلام علیکم.
وعلیکم السلام سر جی, کیسے ہیں؟
جی الحمدللہ جی, شکر اللہ کا جی, لائیو چل رہا ہے جی, آپ کو دنیا دیکھ رہی ہے. اور کیا کہیں گے آج آپ ہمارے ناظرین کو کیا کھلا رہے ہیں آپ؟
آج میں آپ سب کو یہ بتا رہا ہوں کہ آج ہر چیز فریش اور اچھی بنی ہوئی ہے. وہ لال قلعہ کی فیمس چیزیں ہیں, لیکا بابا کیو, لائف جلیبی, پرونز, چکن کڑھائی, مٹن بریانی, چکن بریانی, بیف بریانی, ایوری تھنگ.
نام اتنے ہیں کہ نام لے لے کے تھک جائیں گے لیکن پورے نہیں ہوں گے, لیکن ہم چلتے ہیں آگے بھی آپ کو دکھاتے ہیں.
لو یو لال قلعہ, لو یو لال قلعہ,
لو یو پاکستان انٹرنیشنل.
پاکستان آلسو.
جی پاکستان سے بھی لو کر رہے ہیں, ہمارے چینل کو نہیں لو کرتے. تو یہاں پہ آپ کو باربیکیو اس کے ابھی تیاری شروع ہے اور تیاری کے ساتھ ساتھ ہم آپ کو لے کے چلتے ہیں ایسی جگہ پہ جہاں پہ چیزیں دیکھ کے منہ میں پانی آ جائے. گول گپے, یہ ہے گول گپے اور پورے ریڈی ہیں لیکن ابھی آپ نے کھانے نہیں ہیں, صرف آپ نے دیکھنے ہیں. ابھی نیکسٹ اسٹیپ میں ہم آپ کو کھلائیں گے بھی. اس کے ساتھ کچھ فرائز ریڈی ہو چکے ہیں اور کچھ چائنیز ڈشز جو ہیں وہ ریڈی ہو چکی ہیں. ہمارے بھائی کو بھی دکھایا جائے جی, یہ ہمارے بھائی پاکستانی بھائی شیف ہیں ادھر. اور کچھ کہنا چاہیں گے جی؟ جی آپ کو لائیو دیکھ رہے ہیں سارے لوگ. اور اس کے ساتھ ساتھ ہم آپ کو دکھائیں گے جی روگنی نان جنہیں بولتے ہیں, دیکھ کے ایسے آہا منہ میں پانی آ جائے. تو اس کے ساتھ یہ تندور دیکھ سکتے ہیں آپ, فریش نان ساتھ ساتھ لگیں گے اور ساتھ ساتھ کھائیں گے. بریانی, آہا, یہاں پہ چکن بریانی ہے, اس کے ساتھ مٹن بریانی اور اس کے یہ ویجیٹیبل دیکھ سکتے ہیں آپ. یہ ابھی سے ہمارے منہ میں پانی آ رہا ہے. اس کے ساتھ مٹن کڑھائی, چکن کڑھائی, قورمہ اور دیگر شیا. یہاں پہ حلوہ پوری بھی آپ کو ملے گی. یہ حلوہ پوری فریش نکلے گی, ساتھ ساتھ لوگ کھائیں گے, ساتھ ساتھ بنتی جائے گی. یہ تھا لال قلعہ کا ریسٹورنٹ کا ٹور. ابھی ہم چلتے ہیں دوبارہ اپنے کانفرنس روم میں اور وہاں کے حالات آپ کو دکھاتے ہیں اور کچھ اور دوستوں سے ہم ملتے ہیں اور بات کرتے ہیں کہ وہ کشمیر کے حوالے سے جو آج کانفرنس ہے. یہ میں آپ کو بتاتا چلوں, ساؤتھ افریقہ کی بڑی سخت پالیسی ہے کیونکہ انہوں نے وہ دور دیکھا ہوا ہے جہاں جبری جو ہے وہ کام کروائے گئے ہیں. تو ان کو احساس ہے اپنے کشمیری بھائیوں کا, اور جو ہمارے غزہ کے مسلمان ہیں ان کا احساس ہے. اس لیے یہ ساؤتھ افریقہ کو یہ اپریشیٹ کرتے ہیں ہم کہ وہ ہر فورم پہ کشمیریوں کی, غزہ کے مسلمانوں کی آواز اٹھاتے ہیں. تو کبھی بھی انہوں نے اس چیز کو منع نہیں کیا. لوگ یہی وجہ ہے کہ کھل کے اس پہ بات بھی کرتے ہیں, پروٹیسٹ بھی کرتے ہیں. तो अभी हम चलते हैं शबीर शाह की तरफ, ये पीटीपी के नुमाइंदे हमारे। तो शबीर शाह साहब हमारे नादरीन से कुछ बातचीत करें भैया।
जी बिस्मिल्लाहिर्रहमानिर्रहीम। मैं जनाब आज जो ये कॉन्फ्रेंस है कश्मीरी मुसलमान बहन भाइयों के हक़ में, इस कॉन्फ्रेंस के मौका पर यही पैगाम देना चाहूँगा, जो आलमी ताकतें हैं, यूएनओ है, वो जो कश्मीर में इंडिया इंसानी हकूक़ पर अमल कर रहा है उनको नोटिस लेना चाहिए। और हम पाकिस्तानी एज पाकिस्तानी अपने कश्मीरी बहन भाइयों के साथ खड़े हैं। हमारे इदारे, हमारी पूरी कौम, हम यकजा होकर अपने कश्मीरी बहन भाइयों के लिए जदोजहद कर रहे हैं और उस वक्त तक ये जदोजहद जारी रहेगी जब तक कश्मीर आज़ाद नहीं हो जाता। बहुत शुक्रिया
जी। अभी हम आपको नायत भाई के साथ चलते हैं, बात करवाते हैं। ये इस्लाम मीडिया से ताल्लुक़ रखते हैं जी। नायत भाई, सिंग समथिंग। वालेकुम सलाम।
Yes, what do you want me to say?
Friendly talking about that seminar.
Oh, about the seminar. Well, I think the seminar is very, very necessary in the sense that, as I mentioned in my introduction, and you were listening to it earlier on, that Kashmir, for some reason or the other, is not getting the attention it deserves internationally. And we know, like I mentioned also before, it's an older occupation than Palestine. We know that the genocide is taking place in Palestine, but many around the entire world have actually forgotten what is actually taking place in Kashmir. And I think we need to revive the struggle of Kashmir. We need to highlight the oppression. We also, at the same time, need to make absolutely sure that Africa in particular, because this seminar is about Africa and its involvement in Kashmir as well. Because we in Africa, we know what is oppression, we know what occupation is, we know what apartheid is. And we've seen with Kashmir, things have just gone progressively worse, day by day, year after year. And it's got to a worse stage under the Modi government and the BJP government. We've seen the laws that India has actually now introduced as well. And if we are not careful, we will see another Gaza, if this continues and if the world doesn't wake up to the true realities of the brutality that is being unleashed in Kashmir.
जी थैंक यू जी। हमारे मेहमान वापस आ चुके हैं, नमाज का वक्फा ख़त्म हो चुका है, इसके बाद दोबारा हमारा सेमिनार शुरू होने जा रहा है। तो सलमान भाई, कुछ हमारे नाज़रीन के लिए आप फ्रेंडली टॉकिंग है, इस पर ज़रा बात करें हमें।
अस्सलाम वालेकुम वरहमतुल्लाहि वबरकातुहू। ये साउथ अफ्रीका कश्मीर एक्शन ग्रुप कश्मीर ग्लोबल मूवमेंट की तरफ से सेमिनार है जो कॉन्शेंटाइजिंग के लिए, यहाँ के लिए अवेयरनेस के लिए, क्योंकि यहाँ पे बेसिकली जो साउथ अफ्रीकन मुस्लिम्स हैं उनको कश्मीर की एट्रॉसिटीज़ और कश्मीर की ह्यूमन राइट वायलेशन के बारे में नहीं मालूम है। और जो हमारी मूवमेंट है उसको हमने अब इंडिजिनाइज किया है, क्योंकि हमारे बेसिकली जो एम्बेसीज में प्रोग्राम होते हैं वहाँ पे सारे पाकिस्तानी आते हैं, तो वो मोर जंगल में नेशनली बात है कि बीन बजाई उसके सामने, इसको सब पता था। तो यहाँ पे जितने भी हैं 97% लोग सारे साउथ अफ्रीकन लोग हैं लोकल, जो कि कॉन्शेंटाइज हो रहे हैं और उनकी अवेयरनेस क्रिएट हो रही है कि ये कश्मीर में एक्चुअली द प्रॉब्लम। यस वी हैव अ सॉलिडेरिटी फ्रॉम जिम्बाब्वे, वी हैव सॉलिडेरिटी फ्रॉम गाना, वी हैव माटाबेलेलैंड, वी हैव फ्रॉम कॉन्गो, वी हैव द किंग ऑफ द इम्बो किंगडम, व्हिच किंगडम इज encompasses from the Morocco to all the way to Cape Town. So all the kings of the African continent do the allegiance to King Bungani, who will be the last speaker, keynote speaker. With that, I'd like to say Assalamu alaikum, make lots of dua for the people of Kashmir and Palestine. May Allah Ta'ala bring the peace and stability to the beautiful land of Kashmir and Palestine in our lifetime. Jazakallah khair. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
जी बहुत शुक्रिया जी। अभी प्रोग्राम दोबारा हम लेके चलते हैं प्रोग्राम की तरफ। तो हाँ जी, हाँ जी, इन्होंने हूँ तुम संभाल दो, मैं हूँ जा रहा बात पर। ठीक
I like it. But then remind me.
Yes. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we'd like to get settled as well. Please, the sooner we get settled, the sooner we can go ahead with the program, and the sooner we can have supper. Are you ready with your video? Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to resume and after the break. We're going to start off now with a video again, and this is on the human rights violations in Indian occupied Kashmir.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Dear brothers, sisters, comrades, welcome back. And the video that you're going to see is something that is not possible anywhere else because that has been taken out. It is a work of a very brave journalist from England and undercover work, and is one of the rarest. I've been keeping it alive for many years. I've been attacked, and I'm the victim of assassination twice in the South Africa. Lost my eye in the ordeal, 8 bullets was shot on me. And this is video which would open your eyes, first-hand information. So keep the tissue paper next to you because it's very sad movie. But it's going to be short, it's not very long. Thank you.
We arrived in Kashmir. Just before a camera showed up, I'd watched these police beat and tear gas a group of women protesters. Last night, respective forces came to her house and they took away her mother and her father. She and her neighbors and friends and family came to protest. They were just standing in the road. Next thing, the Kashmiri police, security forces came here, started tear gassing them, beating the women, including one very savage woman officer who had a stick, beating randomly children, old women, kicking people off the ground. Now we had a camera, I could question them about their actions. Excuse me, is it your policy to beat during protesters? Hit me, madam. Are you going to hit me with that stick? Madam, were you about to hit that stick? You're telling her not to raise her stick to fire reporters. It's not very good PR. 500,000 Indian troops and police are here to crush a 15-year rebellion and keep the Muslim population Indian. Excuse me, sir, could I speak to you about your officer who beat these women? Excuse me, there she is, this woman here. The policewoman I'd seen beating the women viciously ran away from the camera. Officer, can I ask you, why did you beat the women with the stick? Why did you beat the women with the stick? Why did you beat the women with the stick? Why did you beat the women? I would soon learn the security forces and the militants take who they want, they torture and they kill. Caught in the middle are the people of Kashmir. The next day, I called on the sisters whose parents had been taken. Around 25 masked men from a special operations group had burst in through the window and grabbed their father, Abdul Hamid Hafiz, an administrator in the postal service. They'd also taken their mother, Atika, and their uncle. He's my father. How did they treat you when they came in? Were they violent towards you?
They destroy everything, and in front of us, they beat my father with gun, and cock gun in front of him and say, "We will kill you." My father said, "What's my mistake? Why don't you want to kill me?" They said, "Shut up, shut up. We don't know where they arrested my father. We go ahead and we don't know where is my father and where is my mother. Tell us where is my mother and father."
There's a police station not far from here, which will ask about their mother, try and get her released, or find out at least how she is. The girls feared they'd never see their parents again. International human rights groups say 8,000 people taken by the Indian security forces have vanished in Kashmir in the last 15 years. We arrived at the police station. The station house officer, the SHO, denied any involvement. He told the people to try another police station. Can we ask the SHO what's happening? Can we ask the SHO what's happening? Why won't you talk to us? Nobody will speak to us. They won't speak to the people. They say it's not their business. They don't have these captured people. They don't know where the children's parents are. They don't have the mother. They can't do anything basically. They say go somewhere else. They were shouting, "Shame, shame." It's become a much more urgent matter now for the police. The superintendent of police has come here. Obviously, this is becoming very embarrassing for them because we're filming it, and now Kashmiri TV has arrived. It's becoming much more high profile. The people stood their ground.
They're releasing the mother. The crowd are pointing 3 fingers to say, "No, not just where they want all three."
Coming out now.
They don't look very happy because they're not being reunited with their parents. It's one thing getting their mother back. What's going to happen to their father now?
We went back to the girls' house. Their mother, Atika, had been severely beaten and was often on the brink of unconsciousness. What did they do to your mother?
I don't know how they tortured her. She definitely tortured her.
She insisted she and her husband had done nothing wrong.
When did that happen?
And where did they torture her? Where was she kept?
Women's police station.
So that's all women officers. So she was tortured by women officers.
Yeah.
Does she know who they are? Their names or anything?
No. How do I know their names?
What did they say to your mother?
I just think I'm really good, like,
Before she was interrogated, she'd been taken to see her husband. She said he'd been so badly tortured, he was half dead. She said that when they released her, that the security services said they would also release her husband. No official charges have been made against him. She said they must release her husband now so he can be father to her girls and her brother, who has 3 children of his own. This is one of them. We learnt the father had been arrested for alleged links to a pro-Pakistan political party. The police said they'd ring when they were releasing him, but the phone never rang. He's still in custody.
Until 1947, Kashmir was an independent kingdom ruled by Hindus. When the British left the subcontinent, India and Pakistan each grabbed a share. Pakistan wants the Indian part of Kashmir and has supported Islamic separatists who wage a guerrilla war to end Indian rule. Every morning, Indian troops search for landmines laid by militants the night before. This is the center of Srinagar. It's the most important part, and it's very sensitive because National Day is coming up and auction attacks are planned for around then, so they're making sure the area is clear. These men have been dragged from their beds in the early hours, so their houses could be searched. 95% of the 9 million people who live in the Kashmir Valley are Muslim. Some want Kashmir to belong to Pakistan. Most want independence. The trials of daily life here breed despair. Do you feel humiliated by this?
Yes, of course, it's humiliation.
So what do you want for Kashmir?
Our democracy. We want our business. We want our education, that's important. We want a unique nation, that's important. We don't want Pakistan or India, we want our unique nation. Yeah.
Does everybody here want a united Kashmir?
Yes, yes. It's hell. Life is hell here.
Remember Singapore? We have to leave now because there are soldiers standing beside us. They're listening to what we're saying. We don't want to get any of these people in trouble. This part of Srinagar is deserted. It's where Hindus used to live. A small Hindu minority have lived alongside Muslim neighbours here for centuries. All that changed in 1989. By then, India's rigging of local elections had sparked a separatist insurrection, and Pakistan.
So I'm rather close here, and I think we have still quite a few number of our guest speakers. I'm sure you get the sad story. I'm sure you get the gist of what is going on, and this is unfortunately Palestine received just fully all the coverage, but this video opened our eyes what's going on, the level of atrocities and abduction, and 30,000 youth is under custody at the moment. All the leadership has been locked down. There is a double lockdown. There had been cases where after the COVID, there is the burial happened in a house where the people have to be buried in their own houses because there is a curfew. There is no freedom of movement. There is no freedom of speech. And sometimes the baby milk formula is not even available. So the child die in the house and the back of the garden, people burying their own kids and the father, the chronic medicines is not available. The kids, the children's going to the school, if it's a group of 4 or 5, they're shot dead because they call it a mob. So for the last 76 years, the Kashmiris are living in a constant curfew and under the forceful occupation. Over 1 million soldiers are occupying the land of 14 million people, which is the highest militarized zone. And it's every 50 meters, there is a one soldier standing and watching the movement of a people. So I think we need to look at our constitution. We need to look at it where we're coming from. And of course, as Naeem Patel was saying, we need to do something about when the Modi is coming. We have opened 2 times already in 2019 and 2023, the war crime courts. We're going to open again the war crime case against the Prime Minister Modi because we cannot welcome somebody who is implicated a huge or massive human rights violation to the land of human rights fighters like Nelson Mandela, Ahmed Kathrada, the Yusuf Dadu and Oliver Tambo. All the people are sitting here, those who fought. They understand the aspiration of the people of South Africa. They also understand what is it the people of Kashmir is going through at the moment. So I will ask for the solidarity. The petition is going through. Please, if you can sign. We also have prepared a resolution, which I'll read it out to you. Before I call my dear sister Fatima to come and give the speech, my old activist, my very good friend, Nicolene is here. She like to say a few words of the solidarity. She said she's not going to be able to make a speech or say, but while she's sitting, she gets inspired. She said, can I get a few minutes of the solidarity? So I welcome Nicolene, please, thank you, come. And after that, we will have Sister Fatima. Thank you.
Positive and present energies to everybody. I am Nicolene Tron. What we need to ask ourselves is that since 1947, what is the bone of contention? Nothing happens for free. No war happens just. The people of Kashmir are not kept in that position for fun or just for the mere fact that it is what it is. What it is not shown is that the boys of Kashmir, which are the future generations of the land of Kashmir, and the possible and the probable fighters of Kashmir, the vision bearers of Kashmir, their eyes are gouged out so that they don't see the vision of their land. While their fathers disappear from the land and their mothers are raped and the daughters are raped, they go through the most. They not only tortured, but they experience the worst. So what is the bone of contention? And as you saw the video, there's a destruction that is happening and that has always been happening. That destruction is religion. They dangle religion so that we focus on that which is inevitable, so that we lose sight as to what is it that the capitalist, what is it that the elites don't want us to see. The land of Kashmir is rich in economical endeavors for its people. It's got the potential to keep its people from being beggars. When you look at Kashmir and you look at Dr. Congo and you look at South Sudan, all three of these lands, they are kept at that position. And who's in the middle? It is the white man. It is those with means of production that don't belong to them. It is those that takes that which is not theirs and they keep it for themselves. They take it from the people, they keep it for themselves. So I ask again, what is the bone of contention? The bone of contention is the coal, is the sapphire, is the waters, is the vegetation of Kashmir. And the UN is there keeping peace, but not really keeping peace, just like it's doing everywhere else. But now here's the thing. I come from Ubuntu, which is my currency. Those that know me, they know that I always talk about Ubuntu. Ubuntu as my existence. And I say that as people at the bottom, we need to be intentional and unapologetic about Ubuntu as a system, because we are the ones that are affected. And once we start by implementing Ubuntu as a philosophy that informs our thoughts, our speech, and our actions, then we will be able to see each other in the eyes of one another. Because when I start seeing the pain of the people of Kashmir, the pain of the people of Dr. Congo, the pain of the people of South Sudan, then I will be able to recognize the pain of the people in Zimbabwe. I will be able to recognize the pain of the people next to me. I cannot see the pain of the people in Kashmir because I cannot recognize the pain of the people next to me. Because then I cannot recognize the pain of the people in Palestine. I cannot recognize the pain of someone that's sitting next to me. Because the I am because you are does not exist. Up until the I am because you are is moved from the random act of kindness. It is moved, it is made away. Let us do away with kindness. Or let us do away with humanity. Let us start acting as a system. Let us resurrect Ubuntu as a system. That's the mistake that was done in 1994 when the democracy took over. We are in the land of democracy. At the dawn of democracy, we jumped into a system that was there, that did not serve everybody else. And then we took it upon ourselves, not understanding it. But now,
Thank you very much.
I know that what you speak off the cuff and you was not prepared. But well done. Thank you for the beautiful solidarity. I charge you with the responsibility to fight for the women of Kashmir and the people and the children of Kashmir. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that. Very, very profound indeed, very thought-provoking. We'd like to move on now, and Sister Fatima Domingo. We want to talk about Kunan Pushpara, 1991. The mass raid by an Indian army, which is still through an ongoing investigation. Sister Fatima.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Good evening to everybody. I just want to say, I know Brother Salman Han for 25 years now, 2.5 decades. And we started with a voice radio station. And we worked together with the Kashmir Action Group. And I am privileged and honored to represent the Free Kashmir Women's Forum today. And I speak on behalf of the women of Kashmir. So yes, I'm going to just go through what the brother introduced now. It's the 1991 Kunan Pushpara incident. Just before that, I just want to say it is a strong sunnah to defend, or the prophetic example, to defend the honor and dignity of women and girl children. Evidence from the Quran and Nabi Muhammad Sallallahu last sermon. The female child will be called on the day of judgment,
and she will be asked for which crime she was killed. And Allah has chosen the wombs of women to carry His creation. And He even named the womb after His attribute of mercy, Ar-Rahman. The wombs of women are sacred and sanctified. However, we can see on a daily basis throughout the world how women's wombs are being violated and rape is being used as a weapon of war. And we are told, when you see an injustice being committed, change it with your hand. If not your hand, with your mouth. If not with your mouth, then with your heart. But that is the weakest of faith. As the sister also said, action is the highest manifestation of faith. Action. So we mustn't just talk about it. We need to change the status quo. We have to. Action is the highest form of faith, the highest manifestation. So what I want to now do is to zone in on my topic, which is, it is then incumbent on us to speak on behalf of the rape victims of the twin villages of Kunan and Pashpura, Jammu Kashmir. This occurred on the 23rd of February 1991. Many women were raped by over 150 soldiers of the Indian Army. The Indian government and soldiers denied that this incident happened. They stated that it was a hoax and propaganda. Many human rights organizations have investigated the Indian government's claims. Many have credible evidence and proof of lack of investigation from the government of India. Justice delayed is justice denied. Efforts to document and remember the victims' pains, their struggles and their courage has been documented in a book named Do You Remember Kunan Pashpura and the documentary Ocean of Tears. The 23rd of February is commemorated in Kashmir as Women's Resistance Day. We must continue to convey the stories of the victims of this shameful, heart-wrenching atrocity against the women of Jammu Kashmir. We will continue their struggle for justice. We will become the voice of the voiceless. Bi-Iznillah, inshallah. Also, I just want to remind everybody that the United Nations Security Council Resolution 1325 on Women, Peace and Security adopted unanimously by the UN Security Council on the 31st of October 2000. Protection of all parties in conflict areas are to be fully respected. International law applicable to rights and protection of women and girls. And we can see that has not been implemented. It is our job to go out there and to be part and to be on the battlefield. When I say that, it is time for action. Time for action. And like I said, it is the highest manifestation of belief. If you say you are going to do this, you need to live by conviction. And I just want to say something about my brother Salman. I have really come across individuals like him. He has been committed. You know, I really, honestly, I take my hat off to him, and I feel very privileged and honored that he invited me here and that I had the privilege and honor of working with him for 2.5 decades. I can't believe it's that long already. And I want to thank all of you for being present here and showing your concern and showing solidarity to the people of Kashmir. Long live Kashmir, freedom, freedom to Kashmir.
I honor you and I charge you for the Kashmir sisterhood, and you may continue to defend the rights of a woman of Kashmir. Jazakallah khair. Thank you for your words.
Shukran, Jazakallah khairan for that, Fatima Domingo. Our next speaker is Dr. Trevor Nkwani, and he's a senior lecturer at the UJ, also human rights activist, a researcher, and talking about Kashmir human rights violations and a South African responsibility towards the Kashmir conflict. Dr. Trevor Nkwani.
Thank you, sir.
Amandla. Away. Amandla. Away. Away. You.
Comrades and friends, so we are gathered today as members of the human family, as internationalists, to declare our unwavering support and solidarity with the people of Kashmir in their long and heroic struggle for self-determination, freedom, and dignity. The title of my short speech is From Soweto to Srinagar, from Gugule to Gaza, solidarity with the people of Kashmir. No to occupation, no to militarization and colonial domination. We here in South Africa do not and cannot accept human rights violations or any form of subjugation anywhere in the world. We learned from bitter lessons during our struggle against apartheid. We know too well what it means to live under occupation, to have our voices silenced, our movements restricted, and our humanity denied. When we see the sufferings of Kashmiris under militarization, when we witness the denial of political freedoms and the suppression of dissent, we recognize in it the familiar face of tyranny. Our own history of struggle against apartheid and colonial domination echoes the struggle of the Kashmiri people today. When we hear of curfews, communication blackouts, arbitrary arrests, disappearances, and the occupation of homes by armed forces, we remember Sharpeville, Soweto, Langa, and Boipatong. When we hear the cry for self-determination divided into two union territories, Jammu and Kashmir were fully integrated into India. This attack on Kashmir's right to self-determination, this silencing of Kashmiri voices, and the denial of its wishes, this is not democracy, this is domination, this is tyranny. It is our collective duty as people of the Global South to resist all forms of imperial subjugation, wherever they appear, to support Azadi for Kashmir. We, the people of South Africa, especially the working class and the poor, offer our unwavering support to the oppressed people of Jammu and Kashmir. Our solidarity goes beyond symbolism into a commitment to action, as the two previous speakers said. We want to build bridges between our respective peoples. We saw this unity in action in a protest which we held in Sandton during the BRICS Summit in August 2023. Just as the world once boycotted apartheid in South Africa, we call for the isolation of all those who perpetuate occupation and injustice in Kashmir. We support the BDS movement, boycott, divest, and impose sanctions against Israel, shame and isolate the Indian government to force it to grant self-determination to Kashmir. Allow the people of Kashmir to determine their own future. That referendum was never held. Tensions, repressions, wars, and chaos have beset the people of Kashmir from that day till today. We understand the pain and suffering of the Kashmiri people because we have lived it. We too were labeled terrorists for demanding freedom. We too were shot, imprisoned, exiled, and silenced. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. once said, "The arc of the moral universe is long, but it bends towards justice." We fought and defeated apartheid. We emerged victorious, and so will Kashmir. The struggles of Kashmir and Palestine are twin flames in the same global fire for freedom. There is genocide in Palestine. There is repression in Kashmir. In Kashmir and Palestine, the people live under foreign military occupation, surrounded by walls, checkpoints, and barbed wire, denied the right to move freely, to speak freely, and to live with dignity. Both people have seen their lands divided, their homes demolished, their children detained, and their hopes criminalized. In Gaza, as in Srinagar, we see tear gas, soldiers, and the same tactics of collective punishment. In Jenin and Pulwana, we see the same courage of youth fighting back. In both Palestine and Kashmir, we see a global media that often hides the truth and governments that justify occupation in the name of security. We see the triumph of might over right. We see the normalization of genocide. We say occupation is occupation, whether in Jerusalem or in Srinagar. Freedom is indivisible. You cannot demand it for one and deny it for the other. Therefore, we affirm that the struggle for Azadi in Kashmir and the struggle for freedom in Palestine are one struggle for justice, for liberation, and for humanity. We are making a call to the Serbian government. In November 22 to 23, there is the G20 summit in South Africa. It should be held not far away from Soweto in Nasrec. The world's heads of state are coming for the summit. We know they've come to discuss how to continue pursuing global economic and political policies that keep the rich richer and poor poorer, to ensure the continuation of the capitalist system in the world, to guarantee capitalist restoration where some progress was once made towards socialism. We call on President Cyril Ramaphosa and the Serbian government, do not invite Prime Minister Narendra Modi, a man. Do not invite Prime Minister Narendra Modi, a man whose hands are stained with the blood of innocence. Don't invite him to our shores. We will raise our voices because we cannot remain silent. We cannot fold our arms. We will raise our voices the same way we did against apartheid. And we will organize protests against Modi and in support of the struggle for the liberation of Kashmir. On Sunday, 23 November, that's when we're going to have a march from Soweto to Kloof to Nasrec to Harang and call for Modi to get out of Kashmir. To Harang and call on Trump's puppet, J.D. Vance, to stop funding genocide in Palestine. We must protest against all the heads of state and governments, as my comrade Nicolin said, DRC, South Sudan, all those governments that continue to oppress and exploit the peoples of the world. We will protest against colonial domination, occupation, and repression in Kashmir, Palestine, South Sudan, DRC, and in all countries of the world. Our struggle is about ending all forms of oppression, exploitation, and domination. Let us pledge ourselves today that we will stand with the people of Kashmir and the people of Palestine until the day that they can walk their streets without soldiers, speak their minds without fear, and determine their own destinies without chains. Our goal is to end all forms of oppression, exploitation, and domination. From Soweto to Srinagar, from Gaza to Kukuletu, the struggle continues. Amanda, Anuta, Azadi for Kashmir, free Palestine.
Just a second. I'd like to honor you with the solidarity stock and charge you the responsibility of freeing the people of Kashmir in our lifetime. Thank you very much for the beautiful words and encouraging the solidarity. May God bless you. Thank you very much. There is a slogan that I like to say because he has such a charging speech. I'm going to teach you a slogan. I'm going to teach you like South Africa always sing. You know, when you go to political party with my king. With my king permission, can I introduce? Thank you. So I'm going to say, hey, haq hamara. I'm going to say, hey, haq hamara. You're going to say azadi, or you can clap twice and say azadi with the left hand. And then I'm going to continue, keep shouting. Declare Azadi. And I think that's what we should remember when the movie hopefully will not come. But if it comes, we're going to make the echo that will be listened in the New Delhi, the New York, and in the world. So, Hamara
Azadi. 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 Azadi.
हमारा आजादी जरा जोर से बोलो आजादी तुम्हें देनी पड़ेगी आजादी हम छीन के लेंगे तुम्हें देनी पड़ेगी है हक हमारा जरा जोर से बोलो तुम्हें देनी पड़ेगी अमांडा थैंक यू
Well, ladies and gentlemen, after that inspiration from Dr. Trevor Ely, I want to actually hold you to a radio broadcast after that speech that you've just given on Salam Media at some point in time. Thank you. And Nicolene, to you as well. I know Dr. Busi Sipanda is a regular, so not to let the others feel out of place, but definitely, I mean, you do identify with what we identify at Salam Media was humanitarian journalism. And I know how strongly both of you actually feel about humanity and justice and injustices and oppression. So please, I'd like to hold you people to at some point in time to a radio broadcast. Well, it's now my absolute pleasure to welcome King, His Majesty, King of the Embo Kingdom, King Bongani III, also known as Kulura Devi. He's the king of the Embo Nation, an activist and a former political prisoner. He was imprisoned on Robben Island for his role in the anti-apartheid struggle in South Africa, born into a royal family. He later dedicated himself to uniting African tribes, reconnecting them with their heritage and advocating for social and economic empowerment. He was formally coronated in 2015 and is known for his activism and philosophical discussions on matters affecting Africa. Just looking at his early life and activism, born Kulu Radebe, he grew up in the Alexandra Township, participated in the June 1976 uprisings against the apartheid regime, arrested and sentenced to 6 years on Robben Island, where he became a political activist and earned the nickname the University of Makana. After his release, he served on the Transvaal High Command, was a member of Umkhonto weSizwe, MK, the arm wing of the African National Congress. He fought in Angola and later became a cultural ambassador for the ANC, traveling the world as a drummer in the Amandla Cultural Ensemble. Just post-prison and kingship, he returned to South Africa. He was instrumental in founding the MK Military Veterans Association. He helped form Roots, which is a band of former political prisoners, learned of his kingship around the age of 50 and was formally coronated in November 2015. He is the king of the Ambo Nation and he rules over many tribes. He has dedicated his life to uniting all African tribes, restoring African culture and improving the lives of Africans both on the continent and in the diaspora. He advocates for the creation of international organizations to address the social and economic needs of people of African descent worldwide. He continues to be a voice on local, national, and international media outlets where he shares his wisdom and insight. My absolute pleasure, Johannes King Bongani III. Thank you.
Thank you very much. It was not my choice to become a king. It was not my choice. At home, I have 4 sisters. I'm the only son at home, so I did not want to become that. I was pushed into a corner to say, you have to do this. I told them I was a comrade. Moreover, I was a communist. I told them that. I said, you know what? I'm a tried and tested communist. I'm not going to do these things. I'm not going to be wearing skins and what. But at the end of the day, I found myself wearing skins, you know. It's very interesting. The struggle of Kashmir reminds me of the struggle of South Africa. And I'm going to talk about the struggle of South Africa vis-a-vis the struggle of Kashmir. The mistakes we did in South Africa, I hope the people of Kashmir would never commit them. Let me just give you a background of what happened to us to become involved in the struggle as young boys. I was arrested and sentenced to 10 years, 4 years suspended, 6 years in prison. When I was arrested and sentenced to jail, I'm not counting detention, I'm not counting trial, but when I went and arrived at the doors, I was at the age of 15 years. Imagine a young boy of 15 years with shackles, with handcuffs. I felt embarrassed of a situation, I'll tell you. When I was coming out of the boat with shackles, with other prisoners, our leaders, they shouted in Xhosa. They said, meaning this boy is so little, how can they arrest a young boy like that? I felt like you might say fear or whatever, but let me tell you, those leaders protected me till to the last day I left that prison. Never abused me, never did anything, but I became their equal, I became their friend. To the extent, in terms of category of working in prison, you know, when you arrive, young as you are, they will put you into a group that they called SPAN, they call it SPAN, where you work, where you using shovels because of your energy. But funny, I was recruited into a garden span. In the garden span, I found myself with the likes of Golf. Golf is Golden Bay as a kid. Imagine a young, small boy surrounded by these old people who are sentenced to life. According to the procedures of prison, is that they don't trust any prisoner who comes unless if they have vetted that prisoner. It could take about 3 to 6 months for them to check if this person is planted or not. But let me tell you, hardly 2 weeks I was indebted into the political education. It's not usual. Those that they've read or they know history, but they just worked on me day and night. At Spanish were working, they putting me more into political education. At night, it's the same story. My mentors before were Carnegie Ndlovu, who was a trade unionist from Pietermaritzburg. That man worked me to the last day. He left prison in 1983. I'm talking about this because you tend to understand the struggle. As I said, let the people of Kashmir not to commit the same mistakes we committed in South Africa. Many South Africans think that all of us in prison were fighting for the same common cause. We're not fighting for the same common cause, including Mandela himself. I want to clarify this so that we understand exactly, so that we don't commit those mistakes. Mandela was a nationalist. What we would term a narrow nationalist or a broader nationalist, the way they would want to call it. But there was a narrow nationalism and a broader nationalism. And there was this group that was fighting for the cause of the working class internationally. And the ANC was committed into that. But later, because they call it the broad church, those that were fighting to become petty bourgeoisies are in charge. That's where we have lost it. Because ANC, it's no more, actually, you know, when you read the book, Dr. Ngwani, if you read the history, I did a research in the ANC, but very late, you know, I was very old at that time. The ANC has never been a revolutionary organization. I don't know if you know that. People don't know that. They call revolutionary slogans, but they are not revolutionaries. These are petty bourgeoisies at the highest order. I don't know if you know, we all know that. These are, now a lot of people would say, Cyril is rich, who is rich? That's exactly what they were fighting for. We find ourselves in that space, swallowed by the space of these bourgeoisies. Today they are manifesting very clear. Unfortunately, those that were not fighting for bourgeois democracy were left in prison, like ourselves, or Gov and them. And Mandela handpicked his own people and went to what we call Portsmouth. Gov was left behind because he never agreed to that mess or nonsense, whatever you want to call it. Now I'm raising this thing because Kashmir would want to make an example to say, because I heard the young boy here says we're fighting for democracy, but not the one in Pakistan, not the one in India. I don't know if you heard that, I don't know if you saw that. It's very critical there. Now, one leader defines democracy in this manner. He says it's a demon that is crazy. So when you're fighting for democracy, you must be very clear that's exactly what you're fighting for. He makes an analogy of of French Revolution. He says, during the French Revolution, when people were hungry, were shouting, Marie Antoinette said, forget about those people, they're possessed with a demon that is crazy. He says, if you understand democracy, you would understand exactly that. You know why? Because when people are protesting, what do? They ban schools, they ban hospitals, they ban crashes, they ban whatever they think after that they were not supposed to have done because they were possessed with this. So what we need to do is to define, people of Kashmir, what type of democracy we want, what type of system, not democracy, system we want to implement for the people, or we're fighting for. I'm raising these questions because if you go to South African struggle, you go back, where I grew up, I saw our parents naked, chased by young African boys. Every Monday to Friday. Monday we know until Friday, 80 hours of the morning, you see them being chased. Naked as they are. At about past 6 to 7, they will go back to their houses because why? They don't have what we call pass permit. So that thing propelled us to say, no, we can't allow this to happen. Now, what we need to do, maybe before I make my points, what we need to do. In prison, we were not allowed certain privileges, but we took a decision as the young boys to say, you know what, we're going to fight this system. I left prison. I went into prison when I was a D group. I don't know how it works now in prison. I was a D group. I was supposed to be very well to become C, B, A. But I left prison. I went into prison as a D group. I left prison as a D group. You know why? Because I never allowed their nonsense to happen to us. We were the people who were spearheading hunger strike. We never gave them a chance. Halima Mtlante, the former president, was amongst our group that was part of the hunger strike. We never gave them a chance. We fought the system until they bowed down to say, what can we do for you guys? So the issue of Kashmir, it needs tried and tested people like our brother here. It does not need people who are there because they want positions. Today in the ANC, you find a lot of people who are shouting slogans because they want to be better positioned so that they make money. I'm not talking about those people. I'm talking about tried and tested revolutionaries at their highest esteem. So I have points that I wanted to share. I did not want to speak a lot. I wanted to say the Indian government is not different from the Israeli government. Same. The same as the apartheid government is the same. Now, what we need to do together, my brother, we need to build what we call an alliance with progressive organizations. My brother is committed there. We need to lobby other international progressive organizations to create a pressure group internationally, not only on the issue of Palestine, but also of the issue of Kashmir, Jammu and Kashmir. We need also to build what we call sectorial bodies in our country and also internationally so that we make them aware what we call political education to them so that people understand exactly what is happening. Because if you can see internationally, everybody talks about Palestine, but little has been said about Kashmir. It means an awareness. Yes, the same boycott that has happened to Israel, let it be done also on the issue of India. Use social media. We need to have a dedicated team, my brother Sultan, that sits on Facebooks, whatever, pump whatever information that is there to pressure the international community. Also to work with NGOs in South Africa and in the world to create a massive solidarity body internationally, to create something like the pillars of our struggle during the struggle in the years. I don't want to be called tomorrow and said to you, you said the people of Kashmir must take up arms. No? I want to clarify this point. At some stage in the ANC, people in the 60s said, but we are here in exile, but what is the fighting for? What defines a struggle? How do we fight the South African government? In 1969, in Morogoro, they took a decision to say the struggle of South Africa will be guided by these particular pillars. I think you need to do the same. What were the pillars? The first pillar was mass mobilization. The second one is underground. The third one was arms struggle. The fourth one was international isolation. I think we need to be looking at that to have a dedicated team that works. But I'm not encouraging arms struggle. Maybe we can borrow the three. I'm saying this on media because I know they're looking for me. They want to arrest me. They've been trying to arrest me for years. They can't arrest me. Yes, I'm denouncing the arms struggle. When we had issues on issues of xenophobia, I stood up. They were not happy about that. They were not happy about that. They were not happy to the extent that they make sure that Embo is being isolated. We know that it's because of our position as Embo. Yes, to lobby the international and progressive organization have been made of that point to utilize the same strategy that was used for the awareness of the struggle of Palestine. We can also learn a lot from the struggle of the ANC during the struggle times. Now the petty bourgeoisie, they don't care. The strategy of looking above political education, I think is very critical. You see, during the time when UDF was created, I was in prison. There's one thing that we discussed, I remember with Omkov, Omkov was making a joke. We were all working. He said, what is this UDF? He was asking me. I said, I think it's a progressive organization. He said, no, you don't know because you're a president. I said, but it looks like it's going to assist the ANC in the struggle. But what I like about the United of ideologies, and they were united by one thing, the total destruction of apartheid. If maybe all organizations should look at that to say it's not about the issue of Christians or whatever, it's not about the issue of religion, but it's the issue of people that are being killed. And for many years, they were saying nothing. I think it's very important on them. I'm not going to be long because it's a long list. It's a long list that I've written here. But I want us to, I want to conclude on this. To say, the sooner the better you lodge a case at the International Court of Justice. Many people that I have came across in your space, my comrades, so I think you do have very good lawyers and advocates. Lobby them. as a pro bono for the sake of the people of Kashmir. Let them lobby, because I thought South Africa would do the same when they were dealing with the issue of Palestine, but also include the issue of Kashmir, but it was not done. So I think maybe it is your space to do so. But also, aside from that, also lodge a case against the Prime Minister of India. That man needs to be arrested, to be honest.
Yeah.
That man needs to be arrested and to be lobbied. When United Nations, you see that campaign, I like that lobby, it's very strong. When Netanyahu wanted to speak at the UN, everybody stood up and left. It should be the same with this guy. I think.
Thank you, Your Majesty. I think just talking about the arrest of Narendra Modi, because Salman has actually put up something that's back to 2018, and I know Attorney Yusha Taib has been quite active, and this is a request for the investigation of the Kashmir election to Prime Minister India, and again, he speaks about your request for an investigation and the arrest and prosecution of Prime Minister of India, alternatively a referral to the ICC as reference. So there are the Modi files as well that have been prepared. There's a lot of work that has actually been done behind the scenes with regard to exposing Narendra Modi. So hopefully we can pursue that. He must go to jail. I agree. Thank you.
You must go to jail and feel what we felt. Let me give you a gift on the behalf of the people of Kashmir, the oppressed people of Kashmir. May I please present you and give you for the solidarity of Kashmir and Palestinian people. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Your Majesty.
My brother Suman, we've been working together in Embo. He's been up and down with us, to the extent of going to what is Carolina? Carolina, absolutely. Yeah, please, we are asking you also to, I know that you've got so much work here, but I'm saying, with the permission of the organization, to allow us to have you also on our side, to work as a job on our side, as a, thank you very much.
Thank you. I'm on.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, my king and my mentor and my leader. It's such a pleasure to have you, and your leadership is not from today. It has been for the Kashmir for many years. And one thing our king didn't share with you, that when you look at his hand, when you shake his hand, is only one person maybe always brings this joke about that he got a shot of one finger, and asked him what happened. He said, no, I just leave it. No, one day he actually, out of the kindness, shared the story. He said when he was a young soldier and he was fighting in Angola, some mischievous soldier or somebody who was enemies with him, because he's also a very good drummer, so he used to play drum. So somebody get jealous with him, and when they clean the guns, and when you're cleaning the guns in the evening, after the dinner, there is no bullet. But when you come and your commander come, you lift the gun, you hold. And because there is no bullet, so there is no danger. Somebody put the bullet and you hold the gun, it blow in his hand, so you will see. So there's many stories, and he has written a book. And this book of the life, I used to call him, you are my comrade king. And so Salman, what's the funny thing? There's somebody who wants to write a book, he also say, I'm going to write a book, the title will be Comrade King. So next time we meet, we will have the inauguration of the book for our community. But I really thank you for your presence and coming here. Bye, team.
Thank you, Salman. Well, we just got two small messages coming through after this, and I know obviously it's been a long session, so many are looking forward to some nourishment as well, and some energy, and we have just got after that, we've got the resolution that I will read out that needs to be signed. But we now go to our politicians, and Member of Parliament, the Honourable Comrade Imran Musa, Al-Jama Party, a Member of Parliament, a message of solidarity from South Africa to Kashmir.
Assalamu alaikum and warm greetings to one and all. I don't want to be very long. I'm sure you're very hungry, all of you. You look very hungry. You look tired. But activism is something we need to understand. The energies need to continue to flow and understand. When we looked at some of those videos, it was indeed very, very sad moments. So firstly, let me take the opportunity to commend, I think, our biggest hero here in the crowd, Salman Khan. Well done for organizing this particular evening. May the Almighty reward you. I know I can see the passion that comes from you. It is through the 6 bullets, the eyes, and this is what drives activism. So what is activism? Activism is the energies that you produce yourselves when you see peace is not forthcoming and you find that humanitarian laws are broken and we cannot succeed, as in the case with the ICJ case that has taken 2 years, and I'm sure you'll all agree with me that in that 2 years, in fact, it costed us much more. The Trump administration as well as Israel spent a lot of money that they could have rather used to create peace in the region, but they chose to spend that money in weaponry rather. So it just goes to show the hypocrisy. So let me also take the opportunity to welcome all our esteemed activists, guests. I know there's a lot of energies here, but we need to also understand that with the wonderful organizations and Salman Khan and the civil societies in South Africa and the Kashmir Global Organizations program that we have here tonight with our program director Inayat Wadi, and most importantly all the activists and the esteemed doctors, King Dr. Bongani III. We acknowledge your presence here today, and the spirit of activism is what we see here in front of us. So without activism, we could very well be termed as complacent or complicit when problems are not getting resolved humanitarian-wise. And I think that is something we should reflect upon and ask ourselves, how do we manage it? Honorable activists and members, guests, we rise with conviction and moral clarity to declare our unwavering support with the oppressed peoples of Kashmir and Palestine. Their cries for justice, their decades-long struggle for freedom, and their resilience in the face of occupation echo deep within the conscience of humanity. Both Palestine and Kashmir are not merely geographical conflicts. They are humanitarian crises that expose the hypocrisy of global powers who preach democracy but remain silent in the face of genocide, illegal occupation, and apartheid. Dearest activists, we cannot claim to uphold human rights on one hand while extending a red card to those whose hands are stained with the blood of innocence. India has unleashed a reign of terror in occupied Kashmir, revoking its special status, silencing journalists, imprisoning activists, and brutalizing civilians. Similarly, India's government's policies have fueled Islamophobia, embodied extremist violence, and trample the very principles of justice and equality that South Africa once fought for so bravely. South Africa, a nation born from the struggle against apartheid, cannot betray its moral compass. We cannot stand against Israel apartheid while ignoring Indian oppression. We must remember the very legacy of Madiba and the martyrs who fought for our own liberation. Our message as Al-Jamaa is clear. We stand shoulder to shoulder with the people of Palestine and Kashmir. And until such time as we respect international law and restore the rights of Kashmiris and end the oppression of minorities in India, let us be consistent in our principles. If we truly believe in human rights, freedom and dignity for all, then our solidarity must continue to stand out. In conclusion, South Africa must not bow to political convenience. We must lead with conscience. We must speak truth to power, as we have always done, and stand firmly with those whose voices the world has tried to silence. From Gaza to Srinagar, our message is one. Justice, freedom, and dignity are not negotiable. And until they are achieved, Al-Jamaa will not remain silent. My last sincere dream and wish, personally, is that all these powerful marches that we see globally, really from myself as a member of parliament, I want to make a call to the world that these marches must unite collectively. We must culminate in such a way that we must enter globally by the millions and the billions, go into Gaza. That is the only way you will solve this problem. Otherwise, we will never have peace in that region. It has been proven in 2 years. The bullies have not made it possible for the Gazans to be free and to have food, and to see the current state is indeed very, very sad. So my message globally is that these marches must start now, culminating in such a way that we globally organize the marches right into Israel so that we can sort this bullying out once and for all. That is what you call activism. That is true activism. True activism is we stand here, but the action needs to be implemented very differently. So, brothers and sisters, inshallah, we pray to the Almighty that this dream of mine can come true, where the world stands together and marches right into Gaza to prove that humanitarian rights shall be preserved, immaterial way in the world. But that is our cry, that is our call. And I close with the words that free Palestine shall be free. We say Azad Kashmiri, like we said earlier, Azadi Kashmiri. We want that cries to be echoed in the same way. We praise the Almighty and we go with the strength of the Almighty, and we pray that humanitarian rights and the right to self-determination shall be preserved. I thank you so much.
Jazakallah, thank you for the beautiful, kind words of your solidarity. I present you with a gift from the solidarity of Kashmiri and Palestinian, charge you with the responsibility to the great Kashmir. Jazakallah. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you for that to the Member of Parliament for Al-Jamaa, Imran Musa. We've got one more speaker on the list, but my pleasure to call in the councillor for the ANC out in Pretoria, Councillor Naeem Patel, and just to say a few words as well. And I think while we are actually waiting for Naeem to come on, we also want to acknowledge the media presence here today. We've got from Suno News, PTV News as well, and Rose TV. You would see these mics here in front of me as well. And you know, obviously, daily Pakistani news on YouTube. So we'd like to acknowledge your presence and thank you for covering this event.
Thank you. Thank you.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Good evening, one and all. All protocol observed. My Honorable King, we have something in common. I'm also born in Alexandra Township. I also went to prison, to jail at the age of 11. So, when I was much younger than you, you were 76. In 76, I was only 2 years of age. I prepared a long speech, but I think people are tired. I'm just going to give the conclusion with your permission. We in South Africa know occupation. We know apartheid, and we know its roots, its tools. Censorship, brutality, racism, segregation, control. Just as we defeated apartheid, here we now say, free Kashmir now, end the occupation now, let the people decide now. As Councillor Naeem Patel, as a South African, as the national spokesperson for the South African Friends of Palestine, as a South African, as a human being, as a servant of justice, I vow to raise my voice wherever I go. I vow to expose India's crimes wherever I stand. And I vow to honor the resilience of the Kashmiri people until the last soldier leaves, until the last mother finds a son, until freedom rings across the valleys once more. Kashmir will never be forgotten. Kashmir will never be alone. Kashmir will never surrender. From Pretoria to Pulwama, from Cape Town to Kuwara, Kashmir is alive in our hearts. Kashmir will be free. But brothers and sisters, friends, solidarity is not enough. Today cannot be just another talk show. We don't need more photo opportunities. We need action. Every year when I meet, every year we have this Kashmir seminar. I see Dr. Hafiz Nadeem Saab, Dr. Salman. We have this, yesterday I was in the Kashmir seminar in Pretoria. Today we're having one in Johannesburg. On Monday we're going to have one in Pretoria. And I have the same message every year. The day after 27th of October, everybody forgets about Kashmir. The day after 19th of August, we all forget about Act 35A and Act 370. The day after 5th of February, we all forget. We need action. We really need action. We need action. For 78 years, the world has watched. In the year 1947 and 1948, three of the world's greatest genocides began. The atrocities in Kashmir, the atrocities in Palestine, and obviously apartheid was actually formalized in 1948. But the occupation continues in Kashmir. The blood still flows, the mothers still cry. So I say this to the United Nations, its world leaders, and to the media: shame on you for turning a blind eye. Shame on you for doing nothing. I exclude you, Shame on you for doing nothing. Shame on you for letting tyranny go unchecked. I call for real steps. Not now, now, not later. South Africa must lead the charge and take India to the International Court of Justice for its war crimes and illegal occupation, just as we did with Israel. Many people have been saying this. Ladies and gentlemen, Modi will come to South Africa. We all know it. He will be in South Africa. With BRICS, we know that the G20 summit, but we have to take action. We have to take action unitedly. I'm saying, and I said it last night as well, if we need to get Palestinian solidarity together with Kashmir solidarity, with the solidarity of the people of Western Sahrawi, with the people of solidarity of Sudan, let's all join forces and go to Nazareth. We must demand an independent United Nations Commission of Inquiry into atrocities in Kashmir with access to mass graves, torture sites, and detention centers. Isolate India diplomatically until it reaches international law and Kashmir rights. We must launch boycotts and sanctions, and disinvestment can to pressure India politically and economically. We must demand open access to journalism, journalists, and humanitarian organizations in Kashmir. Amplify and support Kashmir voices both in exile and on the ground. Reaffirm the inalienable right of self-determination for the people of Kashmir. This is not a Muslim issue. This is a humanitarian issue, ladies and gentlemen. And I think, we brought up in Indian community. In those days, because of apartheid, we were brought up in these communities. We never ever had an issue, a Muslim-Hindu issue. In IHU, from Actonville, Imran and Nima from Lenasia, I'm from Pretoria, we never had this issue. But what I found in the last 10 or 15 years, we're getting a lot of Hindu Vata Hindus coming in from India. This is stirring, and it's stirring emotions of people. For the first time in my community, when the India-Pakistan war took place, there was a post going around by a Hindu guy who came from India, using religion to define this issue of Kashmir. And I think we need to be very careful as South Africans. We cannot allow xenophobia. We cannot allow Hindu-Muslim issues in South Africa. We live side by side. Many of us at the time of Diwali, when we grew up, we went to school, a government school. So we were in houses where Diwali was celebrated. The Hindu people in our houses at the time of Eid. We never had it distinguished. We never distinguished. But I think what's happening now, when these people are coming from India, the Hindu Vata, we're having this issue where this xenophobia between Muslim and Hindu of India is going to start here. If you find the Pakistani community is very different to the Indian community. The Pakistani community, I admire this, Sunni, Shia, Tablighi, Barelvi, they all sit on one table. If you see the association, the Pakistan-South Africa Association, when I first got involved with them, I was surprised. In India, this doesn't happen. That is why the Pakistani community can have a formalized organization like the Pakistan-South Africa Association or ICSA and so on. India can't do this because a Muslim and Hindu from India can't sit on one table because of what Modi has done in India. We cannot allow this, ladies and gentlemen, to come to South Africa. We must guard against this because otherwise our kids will be brought up in a similar situation of apartheid. It will only be between people from Indian origin ourselves. We need to be very careful. So we need to unite. We need to take to the streets when the G20 summit comes. Today, the American Congress interviewed the new potential American ambassador to South Africa. Ladies and gentlemen, he made two comments. His first comment was to put pressure on the South African government to withdraw its case in the ICJ. That can never happen. I'm saying this unapologetically. If President Ramaphosa removes the ICJ case, I, Councillor Naeem Patel, will resign as an ANC member and as a member of council. I will resign. We will never support the party, my king, we will never support the party that supports genocide. That's the first thing he said. The second thing he said is that he wants South Africa to break ties with Iran, China, and Russia because he wants the friends of America to be his friends. Ladies and gentlemen, our enemies are our enemies. Our friends are our friends. No foreign nation can come to us here in South Africa and tell us who are our friends. They tried it with Mandela when they told us that we can't be friends with Cuba. We can't be friends with Venezuela. We can't be friends with Russia. These are the same people that stood with us in apartheid. They cannot tell us who our friends are. My last point. You know, we all talk about boycott. Ladies and gentlemen, the Indian ambassador has invited me on numerous occasions. For Diwali, he's invited me for various functions because obviously the embassy is in Pretoria. And I said to him, with all due respect, I cannot sit in an embassy or in a high commission that supports the genocide in Palestine. And I will never sit in an embassy and high commission that supports the genocide in Kashmir. So we need to start on that level. I know it's nice to rub shoulders with ambassadors and embassies, but when we get invited, don't only say no. Give a reason why we're saying no. We're not coming to your celebration, not because we anti-Diwali. I was the keynote speaker at the Diwali festival in Pretoria 2 days on Saturday night. So it's not about Diwali. We're not coming because we will not support a nation that supports genocide. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you very much, and Jazakallah for your word of solidarity, encouragement, and pragmatic lessons that you have shared with us. And I gift you with the solidarity scarf and charge you with the responsibility to liberate Kashmir, inshallah, in our lifetime.
Inshallah.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I hope we've got another hour because we need to have a resolution drawn up. So I'm hoping we've got an hour to draw the resolution. No, I'm just joking. Well, the resolution is just been drawn up and I just want to read it out. And please, if you could just sign this resolution. Someone has taken the trouble on behalf of the Kashmir Global Law. So I'd just like to read it out. And then you can just be very okay to support the
जी मैं उम्मीद करता हूं कि आपको ये सेमिनार पसंद आया होगा। आपने बहुत से रहनुमाओं की गुफ्तगू सुनी और इससे हमें काफ़ी मोटिवेशन हुई है। और जिस तरह इन्होंने आलमी सतह पे ये कश्मीर का इशू उठाया है और गज़ा का इशू उठाया है, मैं हराज तस्लीम पेश करता हूं। और आप हमें अपनी कमेंट में अपनी राय से ज़रूर आगाह करें। अब प्रोग्राम अख्ताम होने को है तो देख सकते हैं खाना भी खुल चुका है, तो आइए अख्ताम की तरफ चलते हैं। ये हमारे लिए स्टाफ भी है वो
and his lifelong commitment to justice, equality, and human dignity, and guided by the principles enshrined in the Charter of United Nations, the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, the African Charter on Human Rights and People's Rights, the International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights, the European Convention on Human Rights, and the South African Bill of Rights, adopt this resolution on the human rights situation in Jammu and Kashmir. Recognizing that the people of Jammu and Kashmir have endured more than 7 decades of systematic and grave human rights violations, including denial of freedom of movement, political participation, association, religion and expression, widespread extrajudicial killings, mass rapes, torture, and forced disappearance, abductions, and detention without trial, and continued militarization of civilian areas resulting in trauma and collective punishment. These actions constitute gross violations of international human rights and humanitarian law, breaching the UDHR, the ICCPR, the ECHR, the African Charter on Human Rights and People's Rights, and the South African Bill of Rights. The United Nations Security Council Resolution 47 of 1948 affirms the right of people of Jammu and Kashmir to self-determination through a free and impartial plebiscite, a commitment yet to be fulfilled. The ongoing persecution of the Kashmiri people contradicts the ideals of freedom and human equality that inspired Africa's own struggle against apartheid and oppression. We therefore condemn all forms of human rights abuses and acts of repression against the people of Jammu and Kashmir, call on the government of India to end all human rights violations, lift restrictions on civil liberties, and allow international observers access to the region. We urge the government of South Africa, the African Union, and the G20 leaders to raise the Kashmir issue at international forums, reminding India of its obligation.
जी मैं उम्मीद करता हूँ कि आपको ये प्रोग्राम पसंद आया होगा। तो इसके बाद हमारा खाना हुआ है, खाने के बाद हमारा आल्सो प्रोग्राम खत्म हो चुका है। जी नहीं आप कुछ कहें जनाब हमारे नाज़रीन के लिए?
मैं तो यही कहूँगा कि जियो और जीने दो।
ये पॉलिसी है जी, जियो और जीने दो। ये इंडिया को समझ नहीं आ रही, जो कश्मीर के अंदर इन्होंने एक जबरी कब्ज़ा कर रखा है और कश्मीरी अवाम को इन्होंने एक उनको जो हक़ हुद्दे रादियत है वो इस्तेमाल नहीं करने दे रहे। तो अपनी दुआओं में याद रखिएगा। अगली वीडियो तक के लिए अल्लाह हाफिज़।